Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're tackling something that I know a lot of parents are concerned about these days.
hmm
Childhood obesity.
Yeah,
It's a tough topic, but we're going to break it down for you.
absolutely.
We're going deep with this comprehensive guide to preventing childhood obesity.
It's a great resource.
Yeah, it seems like it really gets into it. We'll cover the causes, the impacts, and most importantly,
Right.
what you can actually do to help your child thrive.
That's the goal.
So let's jump right in. The guide starts by laying out the facts. And frankly,
Yeah.
it's a little alarming. Childhood obesity rates are on the rise.
They are. And it's not just about weight, it's about a child's overall well being.
Right, of course. We're talking about long-term health risks like,
Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even certain types of cancer.
and I imagine there's a social and emotional impact too, right?
Absolutely. Self esteem, mental well being, it all ties in.
So this is serious stuff. But the guide doesn't just leave us hanging with doom and gloom.
No, it's not about scaring parents.
Right. It's about understanding the problem so we can take action.
Exactly. And knowledge is power.
So let's talk about those causes. The guide points to three main culprits:
Okay.
genetics, environment, and behavior. Kind of makes sense.
It is. It's a good framework.
Let's start with genetics. I mean, some kids are just predisposed to weight gain, right? It's in their genes.
Well, it's true that genetics can play a role. Some children are genetically more prone to weight gain than others due to family history.
But it's not a done deal,
Yeah.
right? Like if my family has a history of obesity, my kid's not automatically destined to follow that path.
No, absolutely not. Genetics doesn't mean destiny. It just means we need to be aware of the potential challenges and work proactively to create a healthy environment.
It's a relief. So it's not all about DNA. Which brings us to the next factor, environment. This seems like a big one.
It is. Think about the communities where we live. The food we have access to, the opportunities for physical activity, it all shapes a child's environment.
The guide specifically mentions food deserts. What
Yeah.
are those exactly?
These are areas where access to affordable, healthy food is limited. You know, places where it's easier to find a fast food restaurant than a grocery store with fresh produce.
I've seen that in some neighborhoods, yeah. Makes you think about how socioeconomic status plays a role too, right?
Huge role. Families struggling financially often face tougher choices when it comes to food. Healthy options can be more expensive or harder to come by.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've got genetics setting the stage and environment shaping the backdrop.
Right.
And then there's behavior.
Yeah.
That's the part we can actually do something about, right?
Absolutely. We're talking of those everyday choices, screen time, eating habits.
The things we have some control over as parents.
And as role models.
Right, and that's important to remember. Kids are watching us all the time.
They're absorbing our habits, our attitudes towards food, towards exercise.
So if we're constantly snacking on junk food or glued to our phones,
We're sending a message whether we intend to or not.
ouch, yeah. So leading by example is key. The guide puts a lot of emphasis on the family unit as a starting point for change.
It makes sense.
Yeah, this whole idea of parents being role models really resonated with me.
It's powerful. Children naturally want to emulate their parents.
So let's get practical. What are some concrete steps families can take? The guide mentions family meals as a good starting point.
Family meals are fantastic, not just about the food itself.
Oh, right.
It's about communicating, building healthy habits together.
So it's not just about what's on the plate, but how we're eating together as a family.
Exactly. Being present, putting away the phones, turning off the TV.
Makes sense. It creates a more mindful experience, right?
Mindful eating, that's a big one.
Okay, so family meals on the calendar. But what about those snack attacks? Every parent knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, the after-school snack, the pre-dinner munchies.
Exactly. The guide suggests swapping out unhealthy snacks for nutritious alternatives.
Sounds good in theory, but how do we make that happen without a battle?
Right, because kids can be picky.
They can, but we can get creative. Think about it. Kids are drawn to bright colors, fun shapes.
So presentation matters.
It does. Instead of a plain apple, try a fruit rainbow with slices of different colors.
I like that. Make it visually appealing.
Exactly. Or get them involved in making their own trail mix with nut seeds, dried fruit.
That's a great idea. So it's about making healthy food fun and engaging.
Absolutely. And when it comes to those times when they're craving something specific like chips,
Yeah, the forbidden chips.
we don't have to go cold turkey. It's about balance and moderation.
So maybe a small portion of chips alongside some veggie sticks and hummus?
Exactly. It's about teaching them to make informed choices, finding that sweet spot between healthy and enjoyable.
Okay, so we've got family meals, mindful snacking. Now let's talk about the E word.
Exercise.
Yep. Getting kids off the couch can feel like an Olympic sport sometimes.
It can be a challenge.
So how do we make it fun? The guide talks about finding activities they actually enjoy.
That's key. It might take some trial and error. Maybe it's dance classes, martial arts, swimming.
Or just playing tag in the park.
Exactly. Anything that gets them moving and having fun.
I love that. Reframing exercise as play.
It changes everything. And remember, we're role models here.
So if we're excited about moving our bodies, they're more likely to be too.
Absolutely. They see us enjoying physical activity. It sends a powerful message.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Mindful eating, fun exercise.
Right.
But we can't ignore the screen time issue. It's a huge part of kids' lives these days.
It is. And it's a tough one to navigate.
The guide talks about setting limits, but how do we actually enforce those limits without turning into the screen police?
It's about finding that balance, creating healthy boundaries, and being consistent.
So family rules, like no phones at the dinner table.
Exactly. Designate screen-free times. It helps create structure.
And it's important for parents to be on the same page, right?
Absolutely. A united front makes a big difference.
Okay, so we've talked about creating a supportive environment at home.
Right.
But the guide also emphasizes the importance of looking beyond the family unit. Schools and communities have a huge role to play, too.
They do. They shape the environment in which children grow and learn.
But realistically, how much influence do we have as parents over those larger systems?
More than you might think. Parents are powerful advocates for change.
So it's about speaking up, making our voices heard, advocating for policies that prioritize children's health.
Exactly. We can push for healthier school lunch options, advocate for more parks and recreational spaces.
So it's a multi-pronged approach. Families, schools, communities all working together.
It takes a village to raise a healthy child.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, but even with the best intentions,
Yeah,
there are going to be times when things slip through the cracks.
of course. There are always going to be birthday parties, holidays, those tempting treats.
How do we navigate those situations without feeling like we're constantly saying no to our kids?
That's a great question, and one we'll delve into even deeper in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, because those cravings can be fierce for kids and parents alike.
Oh, they can.
I'm looking forward to those practical strategies, for handling those tricky situations.
We'll get into that next time for sure.
Great, because I think we all need a little help sometime,
Absolutely.
when it comes to navigating those tempting moments.
For sure, we'll give you the tools and knowledge you need.
Can't wait. Well, this has been a great start. I'm already feeling more equipped to tackle this challenge.
That's what we want to hear. Knowledge is power, and you're taking the first step.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back with part 2 to explore those practical strategies in more detail.
Looking forward to it. See you then.
Welcome back to our deep dive on preventing childhood obesity.
It's great to be back. I'm ready for more insights.
Well, last time we covered some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, we did. Causes the impacts.
But we ended on a hopeful note, right? We talked about the power of families to make a difference.
Absolutely. And I'm really eager to dive into those practical strategies.
Me too. Remember, small changes can have a big impact.
So give us those small changes, those easy wins for busy parents.
Okay, well, one thing that really resonated with me from the guide. Yeah.
Was the importance of being present during meals?
You mean like actually sitting down at the table together?
Yes. Putting away the phones, turning off the TV.
No distraction.
Exactly. It's about creating a space where you can connect with your child and really focus on the experience of eating.
I could see how that would make a difference.
Yeah.
It's like instead of just shoveling food in,
Right.
you're actually paying attention to what you're eating, how it tastes, how it makes you feel.
Mindful eating. That's a big one.
And I bet it helps kids too.
Absolutely. When they're not distracted, they're more likely to recognize their body's cues.
Like when they're full.
Exactly. It's
Okay.
about teaching them to tune in to those internal signals, not just rely on an empty plate.
Okay, so mindful eating is key. But what about the food itself? Making healthy choices appealing and accessible.
Right, because let's face it, broccoli doesn't always have the same allure as a bag of chips.
Exactly. So how do we make healthy food more enticing?
Well, presentation matters. Think about it. Kids are drawn to bright colors, fun shapes.
So instead of just a plain old apple.
Slice it up, arrange it in a smiley face on their plate.
I love that. Make it visually appealing.
Or how about little skewers with grapes and berries?
Those are great ideas.
Yeah.
And maybe even involving them in the process, right? Like letting them help with the chopping or arranging.
Absolutely. Kids are much more likely to eat something they've helped prepare.
Makes them feel proud.
Exactly. Speaking of getting them involved, the guide also talks about making exercise fun.
Okay. Because for some kids, exercise is a four-letter word.
Right. But it doesn't have to be.
So how do we make movement something they actually look forward to?
It's all about finding activities they genuinely love. And that might take some experimentation.
So maybe dance classes, martial arts, swimming.
Or just playing tag in the park.
Yeah,
The key is to focus on the joy of movement, not the calorie burn.
that's a great point. It's about shifting the focus from I have to exercise to I want to move because it feels good.
Exactly. And remember, we're role models here.
So if we're excited about moving our bodies, they're more likely to be too.
Absolutely. They see us enjoying physical activity. It sends a powerful message.
Okay, so we've got mindful eating, fun exercise.
Right.
But we can't ignore the elephant in the room, screen time.
Yeah.
It's a battle in so many households.
It is. And it's a tough one to navigate.
The guide talks about setting limits, but how do we actually enforce those limits without turning into the screen police?
Well, it's not about eliminating screens altogether.
Okay.
It's about creating healthy boundaries and being consistent. Family rules like no phones at the dinner table,
I like that.
designated screen-free times.
Create structure,
Exactly. And it's important for parents to be on the same page.
right? A united front.
Absolutely. It makes a big difference.
Okay, so we've talked about creating a supportive environment at home,
Right.
but the guide also emphasizes the importance of looking beyond the family unit.
Right?
Schools and communities have a huge role to play too.
Absolutely. They shape the environment in which children grow and learn.
But realistically, how much influence do we have as parents over those larger systems?
More than you might think. Parents are powerful advocates for change.
So it's about speaking up, making our voices heard, advocating for policies that prioritize children's health.
Exactly. We can push for healthier school lunch options, advocate for more parks and recreational spaces in our communities.
It's a multi-pronged approach.
Yeah.
Families, schools, communities, all working together.
It takes a village to raise a healthy child.
I love that.
Okay.
But even with all these efforts, even with the best intentions,
Yeah.
there are going to be times when things slip through the cracks.
Of course. Birthday parties, holidays.
Those tempting treats that seem to appear out of nowhere.
It's inevitable.
So how do we navigate those situations without feeling like we're constantly saying no to our kids?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll tackle head-on in the final part of our deep dive. We'll explore strategies for navigating those tricky situations, setting boundaries, and finding that balance between healthy choices and allowing for a little bit of fun.
Looking forward to it, because those cravings can be fierce.
Oh, they can.
Kids and parents alike.
Absolutely.
So it's good to know we're not alone in this battle.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
We'll equip you with the tools and knowledge you need to face those challenges head-on.
Can't wait. Well, this has been another great discussion. I feel like we're really getting into the nitty-gritty now.
They are. And remember, every small step you take towards creating a healthier environment for your child is a victory.
All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into preventing childhood obesity.
And we're ready to tackle those tough questions.
Yeah, those moments when temptation gets the best of us, the birthday parties, the holidays.
When those sugary treats are everywhere.
Exactly. How do we navigate those situations without feeling like we're constantly saying no to our kids?
It's tough, right? Because food is often tied to emotions.
Yeah, we celebrate with cake, we comfort ourselves with ice cream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not just about willpower, it's about understanding those emotional connections.
Having a plan.
Absolutely. The guide emphasizes the importance of being prepared.
Okay, so what does that look like practically?
Well, if you know you're going to be out and about, pack healthy snacks and drinks.
So you're not caught off guard.
Exactly. You have a backup plan.
Smart. What are some other strategies for those tempting moments?
Well, instead of just saying no, try offering alternatives.
Like instead of, no, you can't have soda.
Right. How about a refreshing glass of water with some lemon or lime?
I like that. Reframing the choice.
Exactly. Making the healthy options sound more appealing.
But what about those special occasions? Birthday parties, holidays, where sugary treats are practically unavoidable.
Those can be tough.
Yeah.
It's all about finding a balance. It's okay to indulge occasionally.
Right. But make those indulgences the exception, not the rule.
Exactly. And think about ways to shift the focus away from food.
So instead of making the cake the centerpiece of the party.
Right. Plan a fun activity, go for a hike, play a game together.
Create memories that go beyond just food.
Exactly. And remember, you're not alone in this.
Yeah, it's easy to feel like we're the only ones struggling.
But talk to other parents, share strategies, support each other.
It's a team effort.
It is. And be kind to yourself.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because there will be times when you slip up.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
when you give in to those cravings or your best laid plans go awry.
It happens to the best of us.
It does. It's all part of the journey.
But that's an important reminder. We're all human. We're all doing the best we can.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's remember that preventing childhood obesity is a multifaceted effort.
It's about so much more than just food choices.
It is. It's about creating a culture of health and well-being within our families, our communities.
And our society as a whole.
Exactly. It's about empowering our children to make healthy choices, not out of fear or obligation.
But out of a genuine love for themselves and their bodies.
Well said. We hope you found this deep dive insightful and empowering. And remember, every small step you take is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep advocating for the health and well-being of your child.
Thanks for joining us.
And until next time, happy parenting, everyone.